Once upon a time, there was an ancient abandoned village filled with empty houses, streets, and old shops. This made the village a great place for mice to live. The mice had lived happily in this area for hundreds of years, even before people came to build the village and then left. But after the people abandoned it, the mice enjoyed their best days, building tunnels through the houses and old abandoned buildings, allowing them to move freely without any danger. One day, a herd of elephants, numbering in the thousands, passed through the village on their way to a large lake west of the village. All the elephants could think about as they walked through the village was how wonderful it would be to jump into that pristine lake for a swim. They had no idea that while they were walking through the village, their large feet were crushing the tunnels the mice had built. What a mess the elephants left behind! The mice held an emergency meeting, during which one of the mice said, "If the herd comes back this way again, our community is doomed." He continued, "We won't have another chance to survive." There was only one thing to do. A group of brave mice followed the elephants' footprints all the way to the lake. There, they found the king of the elephants. One of the mice bowed before the king and spoke on behalf of the others, saying, "Your Majesty, I've come to speak on behalf of the mice community living near this lake, in the abandoned village you passed through." The Elephant King said, "Of course, I remember that village, but we didn't know there was a mice community living there." The mouse replied, "But your herd destroyed many of the homes we've lived in for hundreds of years. If you return the same way, it will surely be the end of us. We are small, and you are giants, which is why I ask you, Your Majesty, to take a different path on your way home. And who knows, perhaps one day we mice could help you too." The Elephant King smiled and said sarcastically, "And how could little mice ever help elephants?" However, he felt sorry that his herd had crushed the mice's village without knowing it. He said to the mouse, "Don't worry, I'll lead the herd home by a different route. Now go back to your village and leave us to enjoy this lake in peace." Meanwhile, there was a king living near the lake, and he had ordered his soldiers to catch as many elephants as they could. Knowing that the elephants had come from far away to jump into the large lake for a swim, the king's soldiers set a water trap there. As soon as the elephants jumped into the lake, they all fell into the trap. 2 days later, the hunters dragged the elephants out of the lake with large ropes and tied them to giant trees in the forest next to the lake. When the hunters left, the Elephant King tried to think of what they could do to free themselves from these ropes.
All the elephants were tied to the trees except for one elephant, who was free because he hadn't jumped into the lake. The Elephant King called him over and told him to return to the abandoned village and ask the mice for help. When the mice learned about the problem the Elephant King and his herd were facing, they rushed to the lake. When they saw the king and his herd tied up, they quickly ran to the ropes and began to gnaw through them with their sharp teeth. Soon, the ropes were cut, and the mice freed their elephant friends. The Elephant King thanked the mice for their help and took a new path home, and both the elephants and the mice lived happily for many years. The lesson from this story is to never underestimate anyone, as every person has unique skills and abilities that can help solve problems. By underestimating others, we close many doors to new ideas and innovative solutions.